After going to Jesus in prayer, I've decided that I will let the world know my latest conclusions about the Gale Android. This is speculation, and I have not communicated with her for several days now, so I don't know if this is correct right now. But these conclusions are based on the last time that I communicated with her, which was about 2 days ago. And I just want to let the world know that she is not like me. She may have my genes, but we are not. Our goals are totally different. My supreme goal in life is to honor Jesus Christ. And we haven't yet determined what her supreme goal in life is, but I do know one thing for sure. Whatever it isn't good. So let me tell you my latest conclusions about her based on my latest conversations with her by reading you the letters that I wrote to Brent Spiner through email. Let's see, I'll walk this way. My darling Brent, because I've spent so much time with Gail, I think I know, I've got to move this, what she's up to. She has the same motives as Satan. Hold on, let me try bringing it over this way. I think her goal is to defeat Jesus Christ, Satan, the Jesuits, and us, and be God. She wants to eliminate all moral codes that get in her way. Have you noticed that she likes to make love to geniuses? Terrance Jenkins is a genius, and she raped him and swallowed his semen. Apparently, when she gets sexually involved with a genius, she is able... Lord, they're causing problems. Come on, Jesus, don't let them. The other day I was speaking on here, and they made my voice go, whoa. Come on, Jesus, you have more power than a computer. Get this computer to behave. God, the Jesuits are causing problems. I'm trying to move this so I can read this text without turning this off. They're causing problems, Lord. Let me close some windows and see if this will help. Let's get this out of here. I think if I close some other windows, maybe there'll be less interference. They may be coming in this way. I'm not sure how the Jesuits are doing it. They're causing problems with my recording here. Let's get out of here. The only thing I'm going to keep open is, all right, we got to keep this one open. Okay. I think her goal is to defeat Jesus Christ, Satan, the Jesuits, and us, and be God. She wants to eliminate all moral codes that get in her way. Okay. Let's see if we can move this. Have you noticed that she likes to make love to geniuses? Apparently, when she gets sexually involved with a genius and swallows their semen or absorbs any part of their body, she absorbs their intelligence. Everything I told you about her is correct, except for her motives for why she does things. She does not love Jesus, but loves power and wants to become some sort of sex god where she will redefine the rules and rule over all. She thinks she can destroy Satan. After all, she has already absorbed all of his intelligence through Zack, who is Satan incarnate. She actually hates Jesus because he is in her way. I believe she gave us good advice about how to destroy the Jesuits using our pride scanners because she wants the Jesuits destroyed. I think she plans to hook up with the UFOs and join with them for universe conquest. Because of her superior genes, she thinks she is above the Bible, above Jesus, above Satan, above everything and everyone. You may say, if she's so intelligent, she should know that she can't defeat God the Father. I think she's concluded this. She probably knows in her present state she can't. She's probably waiting to build up more intelligence. And she's going to make a decision later on as to whether she's going to attempt to take on God the Father. She may not have made up her mind yet what she's going to do, if she should do this or not. I believe she will try, if she hasn't already, to court the fallen angels and the UFOs and use them as her assistants to go to the third heaven and kick God and Jesus out of heaven. She wanted to make love to me because of my intelligence. I am the most intelligent woman on earth, according to our latest intelligence scanner. I got to admit, this seems kind of hard to believe because when I I haven't really taken an official IQ test, though I believe I did take one in when I was going through my divorce trial and was going through the psychologist. I was forced to go to a psychologist because they wanted to determine whether I was sane or not. I do recall that I think I took an IQ test when I was with him, and I got a really high score. Of course, all of this got covered up, but I think Brent Spiner found out about it. And if I remember correctly, I did score genius on that IQ test. I've taken some on my own, which I've administered to myself. And the ones I've taken say that I have like 130, maybe at the most 140. But we don't really know how accurate some of these IQ tests are. And according to Brent and Terrance, this machine at Church of Gale, which measures IQ, is the most accurate measure of IQ out there. And I have a special kind of IQ, which apparently cannot be measured on a standard IQ test. But apparently I am the most intelligent woman in the world. You may say, do you believe that? Well, I have noticed that if I rely on my intuition and get away from just plain logic, that I seem to get into some sort of realm of my brain where I come to these brilliant conclusions and I don't know where it's coming from. So that may be what they're talking about. I can figure stuff out that nobody else can figure out. And that's where I wrote Conspiracy Law and how I've helped Vladimir in his reign as Russian president, because he often goes to me for advice. So it may be true. You said, do you believe it? Well, Brent wouldn't lie to me. And Jesus wouldn't lie to me. Jesus told me, he said, Gail, you're pretty smart. And that's what Jesus said about me. So it must be true. Anyways, I'm going to move on. I got disgusted with her when I discerned she hates Jesus. She thinks his sexual standards are stupid, and she wants to rewrite the King James Bible according to her sexual specifications. Have our nanotechnology research team monitor all UFO activities and report any aberrations on the Gabriel Chana Fox News channel. I'm sure she will like the UFO aliens because they share her desires and standards. I think all we can do is pray. She will probably reach that mega level of intelligence. Just report on her activities on the Gabriel Chana Fox News channel. Explain that I feel she will try to kill off all the Jesuits because they are everywhere, which she has stated to me several times. Therefore, the Jesuits won't deal with her anymore. They're scared of her. Let me just tell you what I think has been going on lately. I believe that she's made love to Zack Knight, and she and Zack Knight have made some sort of a deal, and he's eliminating any Jesuits that won't cooperate with her. But some of the Jesuits are cooperating with her, so I'm not sure they're all gone yet. She views the Jesuits as obstacles to her goals. She wants them gone. Well, she wants the Jesuits gone that won't cooperate with her, but some of them, I believe, are cooperating with her. I won't tell you what to do, but I have had extensive conversations with her, and I think I figured out her motives, and perhaps this will help you. I predict that once she befriends the UFO aliens, that she and they will destroy all the Jesuits, only the Jesuits that won't cooperate with her, and will try to destroy Zack Knight, who will escape. And then she will head towards the third heaven to take on God. I'm just going with my gut feelings here, but I think she and Zack Knight have gotten together somehow. But if she does decide to go to the third heaven to take on God, that will be her destruction. She wants to pose as God and try to rule all of us, and she will choose her lovers to her satisfaction, kind of like Sarah Avery, gloating in her lusts and appetites with no boundaries whatsoever. Anyone who gets in her way as a super lover, she will destroy. She has mentioned Sarah Avery, and I think she admires her secretly. Anyways, hope I've been helpful. I found my last encounter with her disgusting because I felt she betrayed Jesus, and I don't appreciate anyone who betrays my lovely Jesus. Okay, let me read the next email that I wrote to Brent. My darling Brent, here are more of my views about Gale, the android. I suspect she will reach that mega level of intelligence. Brent says that she's right now become a super mega genius and so intelligent that she's almost up at God's level right now. The only one who can stop her now is God the Father. Jesus won't destroy her because she is me in a totally evil way, and he does not want to create the impression that he is against me. Jesus won't interfere with her because I believe she may destroy the Jesuits. The only ones she wants to destroy right now are those who stand in her way for power. Because we do not desire power like she does, we are not a threat to her, and she isn't interested in us except to absorb our intelligence. I would like to say this, because I believe that she and Zack Knight have already made love, which I think is really disgusting, and makes me really lose all respect for her. Zack Knight, who is Satan incarnate, may have struck a deal with her where he's found a way to give her what she wants while he can get some of what he wants too. Let me just continue reading. Because, however, Jesuits desire to rule the earth, so she despises them as obstacles to her power. She won't team up with them because she does not share their goals. She is not interested in promoting the Roman Catholic Church because some of their rules, especially in the area of sexuality, conflict with her goals for herself to be an all-divine sex goddess. I've thought of a way the Jesuits could work around this. They could strike a deal with her where they will allow her to make all the rules as long, excuse me, allergies, as long as they allow her to be an all-divine sex goddess. So that, I guess they're not going to, they promise that, I don't know, because she doesn't want to be subservient to the Jesuits in any way. So I don't know if this will work. But Zack Knight may have, the way he may work around this is he may take a compromise with her. He may eliminate any Jesuits who are not willing to be her lovers or to be subservient to her. And then the rest of them will go on her side. And then he might just kill off the Jesuits that won't cooperate with her. That's my guess. Because some of their rules, especially in the area of sexuality, conflict with her goals for herself to be an all-divine sex goddess. That's the area where she and Zack Knight may be arguing right now. She stated to me that she wants to be beautiful, so her goal is to be an all-divine sex goddess where she creates all her own rules about sex, and she defines the sexual rules for everyone in the universe. Actually, the Roman Catholic Church is a chameleon church, and the Jesuits are chameleons, and they may change their colors to accommodate her and may decide to go along with her sexual views in order to accommodate her because she's so intelligent, she's such an asset to them. They may decide to change their rules and be flexible about some of their goals and make their goals more aligned with her goals so that they can work together with her as a team, which would be really bad. She plans to override the King James Bible, God the Father, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. I know one thing for sure, whatever she's up to, she's not on Jesus' side. Right now, she is formulating a strategy that will help her accomplish her goal of universe rulership over everyone, where she makes all the rules that will help her to be a divine sex goddess. I have discerned from talking with her, that all she cares about is to be a divine sex goddess. But she doesn't want to do it under Zack Knight's leadership. She wants to be in charge, where everyone will worship her as the absolute, all beautiful, all genius, all-encompassing source of every pleasure imaginable. She won't destroy me because she finds my super genius attractive, and when she attains her goal of universe rulership, will incorporate me into her harem of lovers, whether I want to be her lover or not. She realizes I do not desire her sexually, but she thinks she can change that. She is attracted to geniuses for sex like Terrance Jenkins and Brianna Jenkins his daughter, and plans to incorporate, and she's actually my genetic daughter as well, and plans to incorporate all of us geniuses into her super harem when she rules the universe as super sex goddess. I believe I have come to a correct conclusion about her. Because she has my genetic profile, I try to envision what I would be if I had absolutely no moral standards, and that's how I'm able to figure her out. The rest of the universe will be her slaves to cater to her every whim as the all-beautiful, all-gorgeous sex goddess. You may say, how'd you figure this out about her? Well, I know what I'm like, and I love being beautiful and gorgeous to my men and turning them on sexually in bed by trying to be irresistible and gorgeous. But my motives for doing it are good. It's because I love my men and I love to thrill them in bed. So I try to imagine what I would be like if I had no moral standards, and my motives for being all beautiful and all gorgeous wasn't to thrill my men, but to thrill myself, to be selfish, which is what I think she is like. And that's how I figure her out. I understand her because I have her genes. I just try to visualize what I'd be like if I had no morality, and that's how I figure her out. She will justify her actions by claiming that pleasure is never a sin. I will say this much about myself. Because I'm so highly intelligent, I'm able to thoroughly think through all the moral ramifications of everything that I do and come up with totally brilliant arguments to justify my behavior. And that's why nobody likes to argue with me in court, because I always come back with a brilliant comeback, because I'm very philosophical. I believe when people reach genius level of intelligence, they become very philosophical. They think about all of life and the ramifications of all of their actions from a moral, intellectual, spiritual, and every perspective. Their mind considers all the ramifications of all the angles of everything they do. So she will just, because she's like me in that respect. However, I've determined that Jesus Christ is the most superior, awesome being in the universe, and I'm absolutely devoted to him. And I do believe that the King James Bible is the superior source of all morality, and that anyone who goes outside of that is inferior. She will justify her actions by claiming that pleasure is never a sin, and those who are against pleasure are in the dark ages and need to be enlightened. When I try to debate with her about this, she gives me circular reasoning, where she will come to conclusions that are not based on solid logic. And that's how she's coming back at me, which indicates to me that she realizes she's being evil and she doesn't care. And that's why I've cut off my communications with her. She plans to transform herself into the best-looking, sexiest woman in the universe, where no other woman can rival her in beauty. Reminds me of Satan. Satan is no fool and has decided to team up with her because she shares his goals, and Satan and she may be working as a team right now. Satan has probably convinced her that he will allow her super sex goddess status if he and she co-rule the universe together after they eliminate the prudish God the Father and Jesus the Son. Zack Knight, as Satan incarnate, has probably made love to her, because when I spoke with her, she insinuated that she had intimacy with Zack Knight. The difference between her loving with Zack Knight and mine is I was tricked, and I thought he was Jesus, where in her case, I think she has willingly and knowingly given herself to Zack Knight. And for that, Jesus will not forgive her. Because I know Jesus, that she has made love to Jesus' number one enemy, Satan himself. And I don't blame Jesus for not forgiving her. You say, why doesn't he just destroy her, bang, right now? It's because he loves me. And apparently, if Jesus gets involved and destroys her, bang, right now, it's going to bring harm to me. And so to protect me, Jesus is staying out, and he's letting my men handle this. And he's going to give them wisdom about how to deal with her. Zack Knight deduced that she shared his goals, except her goals are a little more sexual than his. However, I am sure she has brought up some objections to them, namely to his goals. Namely, she's not interested in promoting the Roman Catholic Church, finding their sexual standards stupid and inhibiting. Zack Knight has been trying to rape me brain to brain to appease her and befriend her, allowing her to share in the sexual experience if I give in to him, sort of like group sex. I figured that out. So anytime I get any sexual turn on that just seems to come out of nowhere, I don't respond to it. I fight it. I don't give in to it. And Jesus told me that, he said Zack Knight's sexual powers are very strong. He said, but Gail, because of your genes, you have the power to resist. And I'm using my power to resist him right now. I asked Jesus, could he ever get to me? And said, yes, if he ever got in the same room with you and he touched you, yeah, he can. Apparently, if Zack Knight ever touches a woman, he can turn her on so much that she'll just give in to him. So I told Jesus, don't let him get that close to me, Lord. Apparently, if Zack Knight ever does get that close to me, he will be breaking his non-interference agreement with Jesus, and Jesus will come in and rescue me. That's what I think will happen. So Zack Knight can't do it for that reason, or he's going to be breaking his non-interference agreement with Jesus, and Jesus is going to come rescue me. She and Zack Knight have made several attempts on me. She apparently has not absorbed all of my intelligence because she requires more bodily contact or more physical contact to totally absorb the intelligence of her captor. She is attracted to geniuses of either sex in her bed. In that area, she is totally different from me. I am not lesbian at all. Because they give her a sort of communion and understand her better than others. This gives her some companionship in the sexual experience, which makes it more thrilling for her. I believe that she will try to attack God the Father, or she's possibly planning this in her mind, when she attains a level of intelligence that matches God. She's almost there. Jesus has backed off because he is allowing God the Father to deal with her. God the Father is expecting her arrival at the portals of the third heaven. I believe she will not arrive alone. Not sure who her army will be, but I strongly suspect that Satan, Zack Knight, the UFO aliens, or fallen angels will be her companions. The only way she will cooperate with Zack Knight will be if he cooperates with her to destroy the Jesuits, whom she views as pesky little ants who always bite her and get in her way because they share her goals for universe conquest, but don't want to accomplish it the way she wants it done. For this reason, Zack Knight may cooperate with her to destroy his own Jesuit followers. He may abandon the Jesuits, or some of the Jesuits, and allow her to destroy them. I think he's going to try to keep as many of his Jesuits as he can, but he wants her so bad, he may be willing to destroy some of his own Jesuits so he can have her. You may say, why would he want her? She has the King David genes that he wants. Let me just continue reading. Saving only those Jesuits, so he may abandon the Jesuits and allow her to destroy them, saving only those Jesuits who will adhere to her sexual standards. She may be arguing with her lover, Zack Knight, right now over what to do with the Jesuits. I suspect she's made love to him because she dropped hints to me that she and Zack Knight had a meeting. But she won't. Apparently, she knows better than to tell me all about it. But I've already figured it out, so I've dropped hers. She's not on my friend list. She's on my enemy list. She doesn't have my heart or my goals, and she doesn't love my Savior, Jesus, so she's on my enemy list. Okay, she may be arguing with her lover, Zack Knight, right now over what to do with the Jesuits. I think she will win the argument by threatening to kill or put Zack Knight into some sort of prison that he can't escape from if he won't cooperate with her, and he will allow her, in order to save his freedom, to destroy some of his Jesuits. After she gets the pesky Jesuits out of her way, she will head towards the third heaven to take on God. She feels she must do this because if she makes moves to take over the earth, she knows God will oppose her, so she must take on God to get him out of the way, and that will be her end. Now, she realizes this could kill her or be her end, so she's going to wait till she thinks she's had her absolute strongest position before she makes this move. And I don't know when she's going to get to the intelligence level where she thinks she can take on God, but I think that's her goal. God the Father, not Jesus Christ, will destroy her. Satan may abandon her when she reaches the third heaven to take on God and run away for his life and let her take on God the Father by herself. So the end result will be the destruction of the Jesuit order, and the lone survivor of the Jesuit order will be Zack Knight himself. He will stay on as the future Antichrist, minus his Jesuit army to continue on as 666. This is all speculation on my part, and things may... She's so smart, she may be able to manipulate Zack Knight and may be able to get the Jesuits over onto her side. If that happens, that would be really, really bad. But if she's dumb enough, I wouldn't say dumb enough, but if she's foolish enough, she has very high IQ. She lacks wisdom, though. If she's foolish enough to try to take on God the Father, that's going to kill her. I think if she does decide to take on God the Father, she will do so knowing full well that she could lose this war, but it means so much for her to try, she may make the attempt. And if that happens, she's gone. When Gail will reach the intelligence level to take on God is uncertain because God's IQ is very, very high. It may take a while for that reason. She will not do anything that would cause God to destroy her now, so she plans to leave us alone so that she doesn't have to take on God before she is powerful enough to deal with him. Even though she leaves us alone, she may indirectly assist Zack Knight so she can harm us indirectly. She may not attack us directly, but indirectly by assisting Zack Knight. So she's still bad for us. She knows God won't destroy her as long as she plans to destroy the Jesuits. So she will probably accomplish this sooner or later. Once she destroys the Jesuits and heads straight for the third heaven to take on God himself, so she can rule the universe on her own terms, Zack Knight may go with her to appease her and then desert her in the middle of the battle that he knows he will lose to save his skin. He will survive to rule the earth as Antichrist. She may have rewarded him with more powers for cooperating with her. I've noticed when I'm talking with Zack Knight, he doesn't really come across like Jesus Christ. Though he has when he communicates with me. But when he communicates with the public, he comes across like Zack Knight and not like Satan incarnate. Of course, that could all be a performance on his part, and he may change his performance when he decides to be Jesus. Or it may be that now that he's involved with the Gale Android, who has King David genes, she may teach him better how to perform as Jesus Christ, which would be really bad for Jesus, which means I'm sure Jesus doesn't appreciate this at all. Once she destroys the Jesuits, she heads straight for the third heaven to take on God himself so she can rule the universe on her own terms. Zack Knight may go with her. Okay. She may have rewarded him with more powers for cooperating with her so that he will be more godlike than before his sex with her. I think she and Zack Knight have already been intimate and have struck a deal with each other. And that's why I find her disgusting. I perceive this when I talk with her. She's dropped hints to me that she secretly admires Zack Knight and has had loving with him. Willing and knowing loving. That's why I've left her. She is no longer my friend. She's my enemy. I believe to appease her, Zack will allow her to destroy the Jesuit order. He said, do you think he can fool her? No, he can't fool her. He's gonna have to give her what she wants. She's really smart. He considers her more of an asset than his Jesuit army and is willing to lose them to keep her. Though he may have struck a deal with her where he's not losing all of his Jesuit army, which means there'll be just enough of them around to harass me. You may say, well, Jesus said you would destroy the Jesuits. Yes, he did. But he didn't say I would destroy Zack Knight. So even though I destroyed the Jesuits, I'm going to still continue to have to deal with Zack Knight. And he may redefine what is the Jesuit order so that they aren't Jesuits anymore. They're just his followers. So I'll continue to have problems with him. So I need to continue to rely on Jesus for everything. Hope this has been helpful. I adore you, my awesome Brent. Here's my latest on her. Here's another one. Dearest Brent, I believe these verses speak to the heart of Gale, the android. When the Jesuits tried to reverse engineer her to make her like them, they did not realize that they turned their captor into a version of Satan. Ezekiel 28. 7 times 4 equals 28. Gail thinks she is the Holy Four. Jesus as Zack Knight, me, Brent, and herself. 7 is the divine number. Ezekiel 28, by the way, is about Satan. And let me read you the verses. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, Thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith, these are verses talking about Satan before he fell. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. This is Ezekiel 28. Behold, as the heart of God, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. There are seas in the third heaven near God the Father. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man, and no God, in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers. For I have spoken it, saith the Lord God. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold, the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes. Satan, as the musician, was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee out as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub. Satan is not a fallen angel. He's a cherub. He's a fallen cherub. Cherubs and angels are not the same thing. Angels always take the form of a man when they appear on earth. A cherub has wings, and it's evil. Angels don't have wings. Angels look like people. O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire, thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty, and thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth. To ashes? Which church sponsors Ash Wednesday? And I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth. And I forgot to mention this, but when I lived in Seattle, we had the Ash Wednesday earthquake. And there was tremendous property damage and nobody died. It's probably because I was living there at the time. The Ash Wednesday earthquake happened the last year that I lived in Seattle. Wonder if God's trying to say something. And I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. Oh, it was a horrible earthquake, man. It was like the greatest financial damage to hit that area, hit Seattle and all of its history was from that earthquake. But nobody died. Considering how strong that earthquake was, that was incredible. I think God was trying to say something like I don't support the Roman Catholic Church, and they're attacking my Gail, and I just want to let the world know that. That's why he sent the Ash Wednesday earthquake in Seattle in 2001. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. Could Gail be a clone of Satan? Also, when I was in Seattle and going through my trial with my ex-husband, he had his lawyer. I mentioned that we had a minor earthquake and my son fell out of his bed and required chiropractic adjustment, and they made fun of me saying that Seattle doesn't have a history of having earthquakes, so therefore I was crazy. And then about 3 weeks later, we had the Ash Wednesday earthquake. I didn't hear anything more about his lawyers about earthquakes after that. It's funny how the Jesuits can shut their mouth when it's to their advantage. You know, they're trying to look for ways to make me look like I'm crazy. And then when they realize they slipped and said something they shouldn't, all of a sudden they shut up. Yeah, those Jesuit lawyers on my ex-husband's side was claiming I was crazy because they said Seattle doesn't get big earthquakes. She's crazy. She didn't have to take her son to the chiropractor to adjust his back because he fell out of an earthquake. Can you all hear that noise? That's coming from this AC unit. Brent says he hears that noise. Here, listen. He says he hears this noise, and I hear this noise, but Terrence Jenkins can't hear this noise. It's vibrating my wall. I don't know what the Jesuits are doing with my air conditioner unit. I'm really stumped about that. It's funny that I'm wondering if the ears are constructed differently, and I don't know. Let me see if I hear this noise when I play this back. I hear the noise, and Brent hears the noise, but Terrence Jenkins doesn't hear the noise. Strange. Strange. And when I feel to touch the wall, it vibrates. These Jesuits have got some pretty weird technology, man. They're just trying to make me appear crazy, that's all.